Yo! Welcome to the show, BroMob. We're your host, Chad and Brian. Today is August 10th, and man, are we just having the worst technical problems today, Brian. I mean, what is happening?
Right. It's not that bad. I mean, it could be worse. We could be working on like one of those old, like 300-pound projection screen TVs, like, from back in the day. It's got like the projector and it shoots it up on the plastic screen. Yeah.
Could that ever work?
Yep. I mean, you never know. Could have. You never know. Just saying.
Good argument. Very good argument.
That's how I pretty much state my case in any argument. Is I always just throw in, you never know. Could have. And
then follow it with a just saying. Just saying.
Yep. Just saying. Could be. Never know.
It's the basis of all of your fantasy arguments too.
Why do I sound like Jay Leno? I don't know why he does that. That's my version of Jay Leno.
Turns into a bobblehead. What's up, BroMob? We're going to be talking player risks today. Juicy stuff there. We got a mock draft. If you're watching us on YouTube, which if you're not, shame on you. But if you're watching us on YouTube, you will be seeing our mock draft live. You'll be seeing all of our picks, all of the good ones that I make, all of the bad ones that Brian makes, and some good times there. So check us out on YouTube. Otherwise, if you're listening to us on the podcast, sit back and enjoy because it's going to be a good one. We're not on the phone. Nope. Brian pulls up the phone like he's talking on it.
I was trying to visually create what we were doing today with the hands, dude. I still don't know what to do with these hands.
Yeah, I still don't know what to do with those hands. Not at all. I've got mine under control. I'm good.
Anyway,
worst. BroMob, before we get into this, I don't know if you've been looking at our Twitter lately. Last week we had the great Bill Belichick Sandwich Championship, and Brian, there was one really big upset that we need to talk about, and that is Italian beef losing to pulled pork.
Yeah, so I'm really disappointed in you, BroMob. Like, I can't tell you how disappointed. It's so much so that before the timer was up, I was actively tweeting the one poll, trying to get people to vote for Italian beef to bring it back. I'm just really upset. I get it. Look, I love me a pulled pork sandwich like nobody's tomorrow. Not even the same hemisphere as a freaking Italian beef. Are you kidding me? You take the hot peppers,
really it is.
You dunk the sandwich, you eat the sandwich. Oh my God.
Apparently it is in the same hemisphere, Brian.
It's not.
It's in a better hemisphere.
This is one of those moments where Twitter and BroMob are wrong. You guys are wrong. Period. I'm just going to put it out there. You're wrong. Okay. Italian beef.
Crazy.
I'm actually sweating. That's how upset I am.
Normally you are. So,
anyway, so I'm very upset, and it is what it is. But, so what happens now in the great Bill Belichickian? Is that what it's called? I don't know. You created it.
The great Bill Belichick Sandwich Championship.
You should have called it the Bill Belichickian.
Nope. This is why I'm in charge of names. And you are not. Just round 2. We go to round 2. I have the bracket. I got to update it, get it out there. We'll do some votes for round 2. We'll keep going until there's a winner. We got to crown them.
Crown them. Yeah, you're a good name creator. My original name for this podcast was the Fantasy Football Masterpieces. And Chad said that was very condescending. And so he changed it to Bros.
Yeah.
But
much better name.
Yeah. The backup would have been Fantasy Football Geniuses or Fantasy Football Streakers. Because we put, not because we like the streak, but because we put together streaks of wins.
Ooh.
Winning streaks.
There we go.
Like that, double entendre. I was foreshadowing.
I thought that your I thought your original name was this is a podcast about fantasy football.
Yes, could have been. Actually, the real first name I believe was the Fantasy Bros, and then someone was like, is it a sexual show? And I was like, oh, all right, we got to put football in there. so literally somebody said that to me. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, yeah, the Fantasy Bros. They're like, did you talk about sex?
It's a very weird show.
Maybe I am. I don't know. Not with my brother.
Talk about that. It's weird.
Yeah.
No, we are fantasy football bros. For anybody who's just now becoming a listener today, that is what we talk about here.
Yes.
Specifically player risks today in mock draft. So BroMob, so much to go through. We got a lot of show here to fit into our little bubble of time. So we're gonna move on. First, what
with the SHT? Firstshire. You put the sprinkle on the Firstshire, and it's
you gotta put the spurk of dirt into the burst.
Instantly into the chef from Sesame Street.
Be sure to follow along after the show by following us on Twitter and Instagram. Our handles are right above us there. We got at FF Bros Podcast. We've got at Fantasy Football Bros. So we've got multiple different things out there. Good content. We got the sandwich championship out there that you need to be out there voting for, BroMob. I can't believe Italian Beef lost. Be sure to check out our website, thefantasyfootballbros.com, for all kinds of rankings, articles, advice, and so much more. Brian's really proud of his little background there, so I'm giving him some props. Gives a little bit of props there. And Brian, we have this great product out there called Key to the Title. Give us a little blurb on that.
So Key to the Title, BroMob, is our draft kit. Head over to keytothetitle.com. For $14.99, you get updated player tiered rankings. You have player projections. We have commentary in there about players, injury, COVID related stuff. We keep it updated. So as things like the news that we're about to get into with guys like Darius Guice happen, we update the rankings so that you're not drafting guys that are not going to play this year. Okay. So that's really important. So head over to keytothetitle.com. Way better than a $14 magazine that you'll purchase. $14.99 gets you access to the Key to the Title for the entire draft season. And definitely getting some great feedback. We've had a lot of people purchase so far. The feedback has been wonderful. We're striving to actually improve it. So we'll have some improvements. Actually, Chad, overnight, we'll have some improvements, as you're aware. So head over to keytothetitle.com so that you can draft like a pro.
All right. Without further ado, BroMob, let's get into some spicy hot tamale, spicy chorizo. I ate chorizo this morning. Very good. News.
So I thought you were going to go spicy, like an Italian beef. Should have won. Really upset. Hit the news. That's the way I would have done it.
Instead, I talked about chorizo.
I do like chorizo.
Chorizo's
pretty good. So, not going to lie.
Rank it on like the sausage scale.
You know, here's what I like chorizo for breakfast. Some eggs, chorizo, throw in some potatoes, some jalapeno, cheese. Oh man, just mix that up. I want some now. That's an amazing breakfast.
It was.
Yes. Me hungry, Chad. I man eat food.
I eat sausage, egg, yum,
potato.
Man. I also had potatoes. It was wonderful. Moving on. Look, BroMob, huge news. Of course, it came a day, maybe 2 days after my professed love for this player.
Yeah.
Darius Guice arrested with domestic violence charges, instantly released by the team, once being suspended from the league. So instantly, Brian, this team has a power shift in the backfield. In my eyes, Adrian Peterson is the starter. I know there's a lot of people out there that are hopping onto the Antonio Gibson bandwagon right now, onto his little train. And I get it. I statted him out just the other night, and I see the ceiling for Antonio Gibson and what he could do. But Adrian Peterson is Adrian Peterson, and he's going to get the rock to start the season. Maybe he starts to concede some carries to the rookie, but to start it out, it's AP. He's going to get more than 20 carries in a game on a consistent basis, and it's going to be what it is. I mean, so AP is the one that I'm going for right away, Brian. I actually ranked him. I have him at 82 right now, and I have Antonio Gibson at the 99 with some high upside that he might be a league winner type of guy. He might come in at the end of the year and start putting up some nasty stats because he's good in the passing game.
Yeah, so I actually like Gibson in this situation better than Peterson full season, like not to start the season. So I think the draft opportunity is going to be great for Gibson because you'll probably be able to get him really late. And so Peterson will be the guy that probably comes off the board sooner. But I think Gibson's the guy that is going to be especially for half point PPR. I think he's going to be heavily involved in the passing game. There's actually a lot of thoughts of folks who think that he's going to be maybe used out of the slot quite a bit as maybe a wide receiver running back hybrid. And so, I don't know if that's going to be the case yet or not. It's hard to tell with training camp just starting, but we'll be definitely keeping an eye on that and getting more information as it develops. But I do think Peterson's the guy that carries the rock to start the season for sure. His veteran, prowess is going to be really important to start the season. It's also going to be important for pass protection, stuff like that, his ability to be valuable in that offense. So I'm with you. I have Gibson ranked ahead of AP for the entirety of the season, but for the start of the season, I would, if you're going to look for a guy to kind of start the season off with a little bit of a stronger start, Peterson's probably your guy.
Yeah, I'm there with you. And I think the pass protection is the biggest thing. AP, one of the better ones out there. So he's going to keep Dwayne Haskins upright, and I think that's what's going to keep him in the offense for that first half of the season. So, all right, moving on here, we've got some injury news. Anthony Miller did injure his shoulder, and it's looking like he might actually be questionable for week 1, Brian. So big thing there. I mean, I was looking at him as a possible breakout this season. He still could happen, but to start the season, not so much, which is really that was the spicy part of the Bears schedule, was that very beginning of the season, that those first 4 weeks, the easiest for wide receivers in the league in terms of strength of schedule. So, I mean, he might miss out on some of them juicy opportunities.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine to start the season. I mean, he's questionable right now. That's just what they've listed him at. I mean, at the end of the day, Anthony Miller, I think, is going to be a guy that has a pretty good season this year. I like him a lot. I own him in Dynasty. For Dynasty purposes, definitely really like him. But for redraft, there's another guy in that team that I'm more interested in.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely. Moving on, we've got Kenny Stills listed with an injury, not an injury, sorry, with an illness. That's the word I wanted to say. He should be fine. Players get sick. It happens. Corey Davis on the PUP list with a toe injury. However, he is expected to return week 1. Big news for AJ Brown there. If anything if that kind of lingers and maybe the toe injury becomes something. Toes are weird for wide receivers, like sometimes that stuff can linger into a season. Corey Davis, still talented. He just hasn't really shined or hasn't been that breakout player that people were hoping for. So something to keep an eye on there, BroMob. And then finally, it's almost like a carousel bet around and around and around. Sony Michel on the PUP list once again this offseason with foot injury. And he's expected back week 1, but this kind of seems to be his MO every year. During the offseason, he's injured or he gets surgery of some type. He comes back and kind of slow to start the season and picks it up carries wise and gets used a little bit more. So probably the same story here with Sony Michel happening again.
Yeah, I'm with you. And Sony's tough because you don't really know what to expect at the running backs position this year, especially number one, it's the Patriots. And then additionally, you've got Cam Newton there on the team, and you don't really know what to expect in the red zone where Sony tends to flourish. So Sony's one of those guys that I'm really trying to stay away from him this year based on his situation. Now we're talking about a foot injury. He's a running back. Need the feet to be healthy. So Sony's a guy that this concerns me. I definitely want to keep an eye on it.
Yeah, agreed. All right, that is it for the news, BroMob. Before we get into our next segment here, we're gonna play you guys a little ad for KT3 just to kind of keep you rolling and going here. Ooh,
love it.
Nice looking.
Yeah, really excited about what KT3 brings this year. I mean, we improved significantly a lot of it over the year here in the off season. So really excited for you, BroMob. Hope you enjoy it. Head over to keytothetitle.com. Get going.
Yep. All right, Brian. Let's get into our player risks. I want to know who's risky.
Oh my God. You did not run this by me.
No, I didn't.
Hold on. Time. First of all, I just want to let you know that anytime you have a drop that's too short, adding in the explosion at the end is the best thing to close it with. So,
oh yeah,
I'm glad you took my advice on that. Holy crap. That was great.
So, risky players. BroMob, we got some big names here. We're going to go over 3 of these players. And to be honest, these are probably going to be getting added into Key to the Title here very shortly for everyone out there who has already purchased. So get ready for some extra content coming your way. That's the good thing about Key to the Title, Brian, is that we're constantly updating. We're adding new things into it. We're giving you more information. Whenever it comes to our heads, we're like, you know what? This would be something that I want for my draft. We're giving that to you too, BroMob. We're giving you everything that we would want and we want you guys to want. So risky players. I'm going to start it off. Big name here, Brian. Some people are going to be like, what? How? Aaron Jones, Green Bay Packers. Look, he had 19 touchdowns in 2019 on the ground. I think he had 21 total with adding in 2 receiving touchdowns. 21 total. My goodness. That is bound to see some negative regression, Brian. Nobody needs to be drafting him and expecting this to happen again. Like he's going to be the running back 2 again, especially with the fact that they just went out and they drafted this absolute stud bruiser of a running back in AJ Dillon. He's just is monster. He's bound to eat some of those red zone touches. And Brian, I don't know if a lot of people remember this, but Davante Adams was injured last year and he missed quite a few games. And during those games, Aaron Jones was feasting and in the red zone. He was getting passes in the red zone. I mean, he's going to lose those, Davante Adams. He's bound to. I'm not expecting Davante Adams to miss a bunch of the season again. I mean, this is like the first year he's ever been really injured like that. So it's just there's a lot of risk there, especially if you're taking this guy at the end of the first or into the second round. In that spot, you don't really want to be taking any risk, right? You don't want to miss those players. And Aaron Jones isn't going to be that top 2 running back like he was last year, BroMob. So don't expect it. The reward is high. I give you that. He has Jamal Charles. He reminds me of Jamal Charles from the past. He's a super fast, explosive runner, big plays. It's just this team is looking more and more like it's going to become a 3-headed backfield. Jamal Williams there, AJ Dillon, and Davante Adams is back. So opportunities for touchdowns are going to be lower for Aaron Jones this year.
Chad, don't you think for one second that Aaron Jones last year, he absolutely had an amazing season. He was like the RB 2 or 3 on the season. Don't you think that he deserves to have better treatment than this?
Can you just act like that for the remainder of the episode?
Yes, I can.
I don't know if I'm treating him bad, but at the end of the day, I'm drafting a player for this year, not because of what he did last year. So, I mean, I'm sorry, random person.
Okay, Chan, I accept your apology.
Apologize.
Just immediately takes your advice, like you should. So, look, I agree with you. I mean, we both, I think, see Aaron Jones as somebody that has bust potential this year based on his ADP.
Oh, yeah.
Now, again, I got to tell you, like we've said this over and over again, just because we've said somebody's a bust doesn't mean that, or they have bust potential, doesn't mean they're not going to have a great season. Aaron Jones is still going to have a good season. We still see, more than 1,000 yards rushing. Probably, I have him statted out close to 1,200 yards personally, but Aaron Jones easily over 1,000 yards rushing. I see, and then I see somewhere between 10 and 12 touchdowns. The risk is the 19 touchdowns regression, and his draft price right now as a 201. So he's virtually a first round draft pick, and I just don't see him returning first round draft pick value. So that's where the risk is, BroMob, and I totally understand if you're on the side of what would you call that character? Complaining McComplainerson? Yes.
I like that name.
Yeah, Complaining McComplainerson. If you're on his side of it, then we get it. But at the end of the day, it's our podcast. We say what we want.
Yeah, we do what we want. Say what we want.
That's right.
I eat chorizo if I want. I might even bring Italian beef back into the mix for the championship.
I like it.
Override the pulled pork.
I think you should. Well, you should have like a wild card. Just he sneaks back in.
Ooh, let me get a third option.
Yeah,
for the polls.
That's right.
Every poll has Italian beef on it.
What if we put Italian beef with hot peppers dipped, and it's like it's the cousin of the Italian beef.
That's just what Italian beef is.
Hey, bibbidi bobbidi.
You don't know. Bibbidi bobbidi me. Moving on, Brian. The next big name here, another big name. We're talking first rounder capital, Nick Chubb. And Brian, I've gotten to heated arguments with you before on this one. Yeah. And I know you disagree with it to an extent, but at the same time, you got to understand that there is risk there. And we're talking about player risks. And the risk with Nick Chubb, the running back for the Cleveland Browns, is the other extremely talented running back in that backfield in Kareem Hunt. Brian, I look at it and I think that it significantly decreases the ceiling for Nick Chubb. When you look at his statistics last year and what he was doing before Kareem Hunt came, he was tearing it up, averaging over 19. I think it was 19.7 fantasy points per game to be precise. And then when he came back, when Kareem Hunt came back, that dropped down to 13 points per game. So we're still talking about a running back 1, right? Maybe a borderline running back 2 at that kind of spot. But that's what scares me, is that Kareem Hunt comes in, he takes up some offensive snaps. He didn't get the carries. If you look at the carries, Kareem Hunt was like averaging maybe somewhere between 5 and 9 carries in a game. So not killing Nick Chubb's carry total. I'm talking about offensive snap share. And that's really taking opportunities away from Nick Chubb, especially in the passing game where in half PPR, you're looking for someone who's going to catch the ball. So Nick Chubb's upside could be more like 30 receptions instead of 40 or 50 with Kareem Hunt there. Because I can see Kareem Hunt getting something like 70 catches, maybe even 80 catches, especially if they're going to work him in the slot like they say.
Yeah, but I mean, that's my point with this argument, is that I do believe that there's going to be a split backfield where you have Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt on the field at the same time. They are talking about using Kareem Hunt. The team has been vocal about getting all of their best talent on the field at the same time and not having it subbed in and subbed out. So I don't think that Kareem Hunt is going to eat into Nick Chubb's numbers as much as people think it is. I mean, he's going to have less involvement in the passing game than Kareem Hunt. That's for sure. But I still think 30 to 40 receptions is on the table for him. Absolutely. And in addition, if you look at the team up, I mean, he did what he did last year with a poor offensive line. I mean, defenses that that literally knew what to do. Terrible coaching. This year is a complete opposite. He has an actual competent head coach. He's got an offensive staff, and he's got an offensive minded head coach nonetheless that likes to run the ball and knows how to run the ball. So I see that as a huge upswing. Improved offensive line. You're going to have a healthy OBJ. They bring in Austin Hooper to take away you're never going to see 8 in a box, not like last year. I just see that this year, Nick Chubb's going to have a much better situation than he did last year, mainly because of everything that just happened in the offseason. So I think you're going to get a better version of Nick Chubb this year. So I see similar stat line as far as opportunities, rushing and receiving, but I think you're also going to see better efficiency in those abilities. So that's why I like Nick Chubb. I don't think there's as much risk here as you think there is. I do think for half point PPR, his involvement's not going to be like Kareem Hunt's, but I do think that there is a world where Nick Chubb can be an RB1 and Kareem Hunt can be a pretty valuable RB2 in flex play. So I don't think that is outside of the realm of possibility for this upcoming season.
Yeah, I could see it, but I can also see Kareem Hunt really digging into it some.
And I'd also add, Chad,
I think it's risky.
I'd also add too that right now Jarvis Landry is on the PUP list. He's on the PUP list.
Yep.
And there's talks that he could miss games to start the season. I'd argue that doesn't hurt Nick Chubb. That absolutely helps Kareem Hunt, because don't tell me for 1 second that that's not going to put Kareem Hunt in the slot. That's not they're not going to find a way to get him out wide or get him involved in the passing game that way. I absolutely think that helps his involvement to start the season if in fact Jarvis Landry does miss time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I think Kareem Hunt's going to see the field quite a bit.
Sure, why wouldn't he?
Offense.
Yeah, I do. I do too. I do too. So I don't disagree with you on that. I just think I disagree with you on what you feel like the result to Nick Chubb is going to be by having that. Nick Chubb's passing is not affected because of OBJ being added to the team. So if Kareem Hunt is somebody that's added to the team as a hybrid wide receiver, running back type person, like by the way, somebody that we were just talking about a little bit ago in Gibson, then I don't see that's not going to hurt Peterson. I mean, Peterson's still going to get the rock and be involved and be valuable. I don't see it hurting Nick Chubb either. And I think they're in a much better situation, better team, better offensive line, better talent around them. So no ifs, ands, or buts.
Interesting. I think there's a lot of buts. A lot of buts here. Moving on to the next guy, because I agree to disagree with you. I see risk. It scares me. Cortland Sutton, big time risk here. So Cortland Sutton last year was a Pro Bowler, put a wide receiver for the Denver Broncos. Really showed that he could be a capable wide receiver 1 for a football team. And they let Emmanuel Sanders go because of it. They felt comfortable doing that. And Cortland Sutton really shined after that. The thing is, they went out and they drafted an absolute stud in Jerry Jeudy. They drafted a pinball machine type of jitterbug all over the place. KJ Hamler on the offense as well. And they're bound to eat up some targets. I mean, there's going to be enough targets to go around for Cortland Sutton, but at the same time, these guys they're going to garner some. So they are there. And then also at the same time, I love him. I think he's going to be good, but there is a risk that Drew Lock has a big sophomore slump and he doesn't show the same promise that he did at the end of last season. And Drew Lock could become, I wouldn't call him a bust. I mean, he wasn't necessarily a massively high draft pick for the team, but at the same time, Drew Lock could bring some real uncertainty to the team. And he could, I mean, what happens if he loses his job? What happens to Cortland Sutton then? Right. So there's a lot of risk there and it scares me a bit. I'm scared. Yeah.
I get that you're scared, but no risk it, no biscuit. Okay. That's what you got to live by in fantasy. And Cortland Sutton's a guy that's going in the middle of the 4th round, roughly. I think the 404 or something right now is the current draft price. and has RB has wide receiver 1 upside to him for sure. Especially with the talent they just added around him and what's coming into the season. I think the team's trying to surround this young kid with as much talent as possible, both behind him and in front of him. So, I get it. There's always risk when you have a really young quarterback thrown to you, but I mean, Cortland Sutton had a really great finish to the season. I see that being the case to start the season. I think you're going to have rapport there. That's going to be important. And so I like Sutton, but within reason as far as draft price, obviously.
Yeah, of course. And I agree. You don't get a biscuit unless you risk it. But at the same time, we're here to inform. We're here to give you all of the spicy info, all that chorizo, BroMob.
I do love spicy.
All of that spicy Italian beef. Carbonara all over it. Toasted, dipped, melted cheese. I don't know how did that sandwich not go through? I just don't understand.
Still upset.
But the risk is there, so we bring it up. All right, BroMob. Those are the 3 players that we're seeing some high risk with, but also some very high potential with that risk. Because, I mean, you don't want to go drafting somebody that's high risk, no reward, right? Sounds terrible. You're pretty much drafting Odell Beckham Jr., right? Well, nothing to do with that. So moving on, man, we got a spicy mock draft coming up here, Brian. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready, but man, I gotta tell you, every episode you hit us with the spicy stuff. Everything's spicy to you. So let's roll.
I love spiciness.
Yeah, clearly you've been on a spicy kick lately. Let's do this. I'm ready.
All right. Give me 1 second here. We got to figure out where to pick.
Well, so can I pick my spot? I want to get in at the 9 spot.
Oh.
Actually, no, I'm going to take it back. I'm going to get in at the 11.
You want to get in at the 11?
Yeah, I want to get back here in the back of the draft. I'm just going to take it. Boom. I just took it.
It's going to take it.
Yeah, it's mine.
All right. Took it. Let's see here then. If you're at the back, I'm going to go right next to you.
How dare you? How dare you?
I'll go with the 10. Boom. Right.
Not gonna show BroMob your abilities in the front of the draft, huh? Where you seem to always where you always seem to complain that you never seem to get those high picks, even though you just got the first round pick or the first overall pick in the veteran draft for Dynasty.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome. Okay, I'll take the 2 pick.
All right.
Number 2.
That's good.
All right. BroMob, half point per reception. Our rosters are looking like this below. So 1 QB, 1 running back, a flex with tight ends there, tight end, 2 wide receivers, kicker, defense, and 2 bench spots, 10-person roster. So 10 rounds. Brian, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start this sucker off. What? Yes.
Start it off.
All right. Somehow Saquon went first. You know what? I don't want to say somehow. I do think Saquon is a viable first overall pick. Me personally, I would take CMC, but I do really like Saquon Barkley as well. He's a modern day Barry Sanders. He's incredible. So, BroMob, I'm not even going to blink. Christian McCaffrey's on my team so fast, make a head spin.
Understandable. I do completely understand.
Mm-hmm. Picks are coming your way, Brian.
Yep, here we go. Here we go.
You up.
All right, so I'm on the clock and staring at a little disappointed. I thought maybe Derrick Henry would slip to me. Bummer.
Oh,
but
no way.
Here, look, so this is a good example, right? We just got done talking about guys like Nick Chubb, Joe Mixon, Aaron Jones. We didn't talk about Joe Mixon, but so here's where the running back class starts getting a little risky. Again, no risk it, no biscuit. Okay.
No biscuit.
So here's the thing about these turns, BroMob, that as I kind of look at this, these are areas where you may not on this pick. You're going to take the guy that you want here. That's the best value. But when it snakes around, you're going to want to start looking at picks, and you want to think, hey, it's going to be a bit before it gets back to me. So if there's a guy that you really want and no one fell to you, it's okay to reach on this next pick. So, but hear me out. So the first of all, I'm gonna take Joe Mixon here, Jed, because I mean, he's the bona fide number one stud, bona fide, and just got an upgraded quarterback, a lot of talent on that offense. So I really like that. So it sneaks around here to me. After the fact, Miles Sanders comes off the board. That's interesting. So, really shocked by that, not going to lie. And so now I'm looking at running backs. I'm looking at wide receivers. I got Julio Jones, DeAndre Hopkins is available. I can take Chris Godwin, Kenny Golladay. And we've got some pretty big named wide receivers that are available here. And the question is if I take a wide out here, am I going to be able to get the same caliber of running back on the swing back? Or, now I've got a pretty solid RB1 here in Joe Mixon, I feel like. So I think he's going to get the volume. He had a great end of the season. I think he'll have a really great season. He's in a contract year. So there's a lot to like about Joe Mixon this year. But there's significant risk. So I could hedge my risk with another surefire bet at running back and Nick Chubb here. Or I could take a wide receiver in Julio, Hopkins, Godwin, Golladay, Evans, etc. I think the wide receivers are pretty deep this year, so I am going to stick at running back. I am going to take Nick Chubb, but you could go either way here, and I think you're good. You just don't want to do what the guy did before me and take Pat Mahomes at the 201. What?
Yeah, do not be that person.
Yeah, don't be that guy.
So I'm looking pretty nice here. I was really hoping to grab another running back like Clyde. But that's not happening because he just went 2 picks in front of me.
Yep.
Kenyon Drake went, another guy I wanted, and I'm looking at James Conner, Chris Carson, Melvin Gordon, Leonard Fournette. I could get any of those guys around this turn. And Brian, I see some big name wide receivers, but I'm also seeing a big name guy who's staring me in the eyeballs as well. And I love him.
Yep.
And that's George Kittle. I mean, tight end 1 for 2020. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I think this worked out really well for you, in my opinion. I'm going to tell you why. So you got George Kittle, who is what we believe as the tight end 1 this year, ahead of Travis Kelce. Chris Godwin and Julio Jones comes off the board. And now you have the ability to take who we also believe is the wide receiver 1 on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, if you wanted him. And that's Mike Evans, because the guy ahead of you took Chris Godwin, who's not a bad pick and is going to get a lot of volume, but we see Mike Evans as being more of the touchdown guy. And look, Mike Evans, 6 years in the league, not once has he had less than 1,000 yards passing or receiving, I mean. And in those 6 years, he's had absolute turds throwing him the ball. So now he's got a shiny golden turd in Tom Brady, who I love wholeheartedly. The shiny Brady turd throwing him the ball. And I actually think he has the ability to break out and have his best season yet.
Mm-hmm. And you've read my mind, Brian. Mike Evans is my guy. I'm taking him right here.
Sure.
Thought about going running back, but I mean, there's some nice depth, and I can grab one here around. So you're back up. You've got 2 running backs.
I see that. I see that. So what happened here is really what I was hoping would happen if I took a wide receiver with the last pick. And that was David Johnson slipping to me at the 311. So this is a good example of, had I taken, I could have went Hopkins or Golladay or even Mike Evans at the 202, and it would have been okay to reach on Evans. Clearly, he slipped to Chad, I think, way too deep. Even if he went in the late second, it still would have been a reach at the 202. But again, you see that there was no way I was going to get Mike Evans at the 311. So I mean, it's an okay spot for you to take Evans at the 202 if he's your guy, if he's the guy you want. So it's don't be afraid to reach on those guys if they're who you want. Okay. Yeah, I think sometimes we get caught up in the, well, you know, I should take Hopkins because that's where he's valued. Well, no, you shouldn't. If Mike Evans is your guy, go get him. Just don't reach 2-3 rounds ahead because you think, oh, I don't want somebody else to get him. So those are, you know, the things that I would look at. But here we are. So, you know, I could take another running back. I could clearly take David Johnson and solidify my backfield and say, look, I'm going to have the best three-headed monster in the league. Or I could be smart and take a wide receiver, which is what I'm going to do. And Chad, Amari Cooper is a wide receiver 1. Would you not agree?
Yeah, I agree.
You got to take him here. So Amari Cooper is my guy.
I have no idea how he fell that far to you.
It's amazing to me to get him in the 3rd round. If that happens, you got to take advantage of it, right? So here I am on the clock again, and AJ Brown comes off the board right in front of me. I was really hoping that would not happen, but it did. Doesn't surprise me though. He's a beast. Would have been a nice starting 4 picks to have Joe Mixon, Nick Chubb, Amari Cooper, AJ Brown. So was really wanting that. That would have been great. The next pick here. So I'm looking at wide receiver again. I've got DK Metcalf. I've got Calvin Ridley, Juju Smith-Schuster, Allen Robinson, Robert Woods, OBJ. Now, I know you like DK, Chad. I'm not as high on him as you are. So I'm not going to take him here. But if you were in my spot, would you take him here?
Yes.
Okay. Over these guys that we just looked at.
The only other one that I would argue is Allen Robinson.
And so that's who I'm looking at. And so, you know, I'm looking at ADP. We're on Sleeper, right? ADP's like, oh, well, you know, 42. Well, and DK and Calvin Ridley, just because the ADP's higher doesn't mean you should take him. That just means that's where people, normal people are drafting him. That's his average draft price. Look, BroMob, we're not average. Okay. We're above average. We're champions here. Yes. Get your mind right. So let's do this. Allen Robinson, hit me.
It'd have been funny if you were like, let's do this. David Johnson.
That's right.
All of that talk. All right. Oh no.
Yep.
Jonathan Taylor.
Yep.
Right. That's who I wanted. To a team that has Alvin Kamara, Lamar Jackson, Lev Bell, and now they've gone Jonathan Taylor. They don't even have a white.
That happens. That happens. That happens in the league.
It does.
I mean, I've seen teams. I mean, again, maybe he's like, hey, I'm going to take a quarterback early. I'm going no wide receiver until I get into the 5th. There you go.
Well,
I mean, look at the.
It is.
Can you look at the team at the 8 pick? Four running backs.
4 running backs. Can only start 2.
But he's deep, man.
I get it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's super deep. I mean, Zeke, Jones, Leonard Fournette, Mark Ingram, incredible. Brian, I'm looking at wide receiver here because just there's nothing at running back that I'm really interested in. Once Jonathan Taylor disappeared,
you're not interested in Raheem Mostert.
I think I can wait.
Mustard sandwich.
The next side, yeah, mustard sandwich, ham and cheese with mustard, which also won over roast beef. That's an FYI.
I don't want to hear it.
And BroMob, I'm looking at my wideouts here. I really like DJ Moore. The problem is he has a week 13 bye, and Mike Evans does too. So I'd be without 2-star wide receivers on my offense that first week of the fantasy playoffs.
So
I don't know if I like that.
So Chad, the one thing I would say before you make your pick here is if I'm looking at your team, and I'm not saying you made a mistake, but I want BroMob to see this. By the way, if you're listening right now, BroMob, you should go to YouTube, search for Fantasy Football Bros, or click the YouTube link in our podcast show notes. You got to see the draft too, but you're staring at tight end Mark Andrews right now, and you could have went, James Conner. You could have even reached on David Johnson and taken Mike Evans at the 211 and grabbed David Johnson on the swing, and now had Mark Andrews. Do you feel more comfortable with that, or do you like what you've got so far?
Well, of course I would feel comfortable with that. But at the same time, there's no way I ever imagined Mark Andrews to make it this far.
Here's a question.
He's going to go in the third, beginning of the fourth.
Do you ever draft with the intention of trading a guy?
No.
Okay.
I will not be drafting Mark Andrews when I have George Kittle on my team. I refuse.
No, I understand that. I mean, this is maybe a situation where I would, if there's not an ample quality wide receiver or running back available that I'm like that I feel like if I could get, I would take Mark Andrews here if I didn't like what I saw on the board, purely so that I could trade George Kittle and snag an upgrade at wide receiver or running back, and roll with Mark Andrews for the rest of the year.
No,
because George Kittle is going to merit. He's gonna have draw. He'll have pull. Like, people are going to give you stuff for George Kittle. Mark Andrews is not as much because he's only done it once. He's got to do it 2 times. But George Kittle is a bona fide stud.
Bona fide.
And
Brian, I actually am. I've completely switched tone. You've talked me through all this for minutes now. And I'm going Mostert because I love mustard.
I knew you'd get that Colonel Mustard.
Yeah. Just a short running back, really. And now the wide receivers that I really wanted are still there. And the one who I really wanted is Robert Woods. Not flashy at all, but man, is he going to get some work in the passing game this year. He's going to get a lot of catches. All he needs to do is up that touchdown total that he wasn't getting any of them last year. So you get some touchdowns built in there. He's looking nice.
Yes. He looking like a man. Yeah. All right, Chad.
So I'm back. Wide receivers just disappeared.
So I'm back on the clock. I'm looking at tight ends right now. Darren Waller, Rob Gronkowski, Evan Ingram, Hunter Henry. Not doing any of that. I don't know if you read Zach Kaminsky's article. He's one of our writers for the Fantasy Football Bros. Fantastic article. Head over to thefantasyfootballbros.com and check it out. It talks about mid-round tight ends and the risks. And again, this is one of those situations where I would say you do not want to risk it for that said biscuit.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm kind of evened out here, Chad. I got 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers. So I can go any direction I want here. I'm staring at Terry McLaurin, aka Scare Tear. I've got AJ Green, Marquise Hollywood Brown, Cortland Sutton at wide receiver, Devontae Parker also. And at running back, I've got Kareem Hunt, Marlon Mack, DeAndre Swift, aka D Swift. Can you hit me with that drop? No? Okay. All right. Fair enough. Darius Geis is here. This is what I'm talking about. You would not want to draft him. Okay. He will not. He will not be playing this season, and he might not play at all for the rest of his career. So in this case, Chad, I am not really in love with any of the running backs at that spot. I am going to take Scare Tear.
All right.
Big fan of Scare Tear this year, by the way.
Which just went right in front of you, and you're back.
Big fan of Scare Tear this year, dude.
It should be.
Back up on the clock. Yeah, I know. I'm just kind of weighing my options here. So I'm really upset that Swift came off the board. So back on the clock here, looking at running backs, Kareem Hunt is probably going to be the guy that I take here. I am looking ahead a little bit. So Ronald Jones, looking at him, probably not going to make it back to me.
Nope.
This is one of those situations, BroMob, where if you see your guy, you maybe want to take him. Ronald Jones is the starting running back on a squad with Tom Brady and all this talent. I get it. They just signed LaShawn McCoy. I do think that hurts his value a little bit. But look, Bruce Arians has said he's their guy. He's the starter in that. And it seems like LaShawn McCoy was a depth play. And if you look at how much they paid him, it makes a lot of sense. So, I could take the risk and go grab Ronald Jones in a backfield that you're really not sure about, or I could take more surefire bet in half-point PPR with Kareem Hunt, who had an absolute stud finish to the season in PPR. I'm going to take me some Kareem Hunt here, Chad.
Yeah, as you should. That's exactly who I thought you should take.
Yeah, and it is exactly who I took because I'm straight stud and I'm straight baller.
Here. Oh, boom.
Oh,
things worked out.
Oh, bingo, bango.
Bingo, bango, Ronald Jones-o in front of my eyes, though. But here's the thing. I'm going to go with upside. And the upside I like is rookie Cam Akers. I really do. It could be a three-headed backfield, or he could prove to be a beast and instantly take that backfield over. I've got Christian McCaffrey. I can take that bet. So I'm taking it. Cam Akers.
Well, all right.
Oh, and then perfect. Exactly who I wanted to be there is there. I talked about him being risky, and BroMob, this is the risk. I'm risking it for the biscuit right now. Cortland Sutton in the 7th round. I'm all for it. I mean, it's a 6th rounder going in the 7th round. I'll take it.
Please fall to me. Please fall. Oh, he didn't. Oh. All right. So this is one of those moments that it happens in fantasy, BroMob, and I completely get it. I was really after Michael Gallup at the 7-11. I was really hoping he'd slip to me here. And he did not, which is a bummer because I think Chad, you and I have a standing bet on him, I believe. And then also we've talked about him at great depth this year. And I think he's fantastic. So now I'm staring at Brandon Cooks, who is the wide receiver 1 currently, Chad, on the Houston Texans. A lot of injury risk and history there. But again, I'm going to say it again. He's the wide receiver 1 on a team that has Deshaun Watson tossing that pigskin around a little bit. So I like that. You also have Julian Edelman, Will Fuller, Tyler Boyd, etc. here. So some options at wide receiver for sure. And then at running back, Sony Michel, who we just talked about being on the PUP list, clearly says that here on his draft chart line character. What? And then Tevin Coleman, Jordan Howard, Kerryon Johnson, Matt Breida. So here's the one thing I would say. Now I think it's unlikely. Look, should say it's unlikely. Jordan Howard should swing back to me. I'd like to take him there. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to stick to wide receiver. I am going to take Brandon Cooks here because I think there's some value there. Again, you got a wide receiver 1 on a team. And so I really like that.
We're going to fill our rosters. We have 3 picks left. So we need a QB, kicker, and a defense.
What? I am not. No, we're not doing that. I'm not drafting a kicker. Get out of here. Right. However, what I will do is I will draft a quarterback and a tight end for you. But the defense and the kicker, come on, we can't advocate taking a defense and a kicker before the 10th round. Get out of here.
I'm not advocating. Advocating.
Ever with an R.
Advocating. I'm also not speaking English.
Yes.
I'm just saying, if you have a roster to fill.
All right, I'll fill it. Jeez. All right, Jared Cook.
I do love me some Jared Cook.
Yeah, I do too, but I wouldn't take him here. I'd wait till like the 12th or 11th or 12th, maybe 13th round, grab Mike Gesicki, who's my guy this year. Love me some Gesicki.
I agree. All right. Looking at quarterbacks. And I'm gonna take one.
Okay.
Golden turd. Tom Brady to Mike Evans.
Oh, I love me a golden turd. How are you not going to take Josh Allen there?
I got the pair. Tom Brady to Mike Evans, dude. I'm into it.
It's not terrible. I would have taken Josh Allen hard.
All right, to fill my roster. Defense, what we got? Oh, yeah. Pittsburgh, hit it up.
Give me Josh Allen. Give me Josh Allen. Give me Josh Allen. Yeah. Hit me. Josh Allen, baby. The quarterback you should have taken.
No. I'll take Brady.
Nope. All right, defense me. I didn't get a kicker. Well,
that's what I was saying. Give me crap.
I'm gonna have to drop a guy to get a kicker now, but hey, what are you gonna do? Well, allow me to consult KT3 right quick. So KT3, telleth me what defense has the best opening start to the season. And what KT3 is going to tell me, Chad, is that what I'm actually going to right now is strength of schedule. So as I look at strength of schedule, I want the first 4 games. So if you're in KT3, go to strength of schedule. It's in Insider's Edge, and you want to sort by defense. It's a sortable chart, and it goes through the first 4 weeks and shows you the defenses that have the easiest schedule to start the season. So, for example, top 5 are the Cardinals, the Bears, the Chargers, the Bills, and the Panthers. So, as I'm looking at these available, defenses here in front of me, I'm realizing that a lot of these guys have been picked, huh? Oh, nope. I've got Panthers. Are Bears available?
The Bears are not available.
All right. So, you know what? Here. Hit me with. I'm going to roll out with the Panthers.
Anyone? Take anybody?
I'll take Panthers.
Right.
Yep.
Good.
Panthers defense.
That was the longest defensive pick I've ever seen.
Well, I mean, I was showing BroMob the abilities of KT3, Chad. Okay, trying to help out BroMob here. The whole point of this is not to fulfill your own personal vendettas. It's to help BroMob.
Interesting. Also going Tampa Bay again. Matt Gay. They'll be scoring a lot. He's going to be kicking a lot.
Yeah. I agree with you. All right, cool. So I don't have a kicker, but imagine that I do. Okay.
This is what I got going on right here. Yep. BroMob. Got Tom Brady, Christian McCaffrey, Mike Evans, Robert Woods, George Kittle, Raheem Mostert, Matt Gay, Pittsburgh defense, and then Cam Akers and Cortland Sutton on my bench. Brian, let's look at your awful team.
Yeah, I'm rocking Josh Allen at quarterback, Joe Mixon and Nick Chubb at running back, Amari Cooper, Allen Robinson at wideout, Jared Cook at the tight end position. I've got no kicker, but that's all right. I'm not going to get a lot of points from a kicker anyway, so I don't really care. I'll pick one up off of waivers. And I rolled with the Panthers at defense because I like the first couple of weeks of matchups. And I've got Scare Terror, Kareem Hunt, and Brandon Cooks on the bench as my depth. I like it. It's a solid team.
Yeah, I got way better.
Well,
we're going to put that out for a poll next to our sandwiches. And unlike you and Italian beef, I'm going to be a victor.
Victor your face.
Yeah, victor it up. Going to be really, really fun. That was really fun.
I love mocks. Love mocks, and I love the fact that we can show the mock now. So,
yeah.
Get over to YouTube. Thing. Get over to YouTube, BroMob. Check us out. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the little bell button. Hit the bell. Bell it up. Bing, bing, bing.
Bing, bing, bing. I don't know why it's binging. BroMob, that's going to be it for today's show. This week's show, really. Be sure to tune in every Monday to stay up to date on the fantasy football world and to gather any insights on how to dominate your fantasy football leagues.
That's right, BroMob. Thanks for joining us today, and make sure you head over to keytothetitle.com. You definitely want to get involved in that. I think you're going to really, really love it. Keytothetitle.com. Head over there, draft like a pro.
If you're not listening to us on Apple Podcasts, check us out on YouTube. This is awesome. We got video of ourselves. But if you're not on Apple Podcasts, we're also on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, a whole bunch of things that are out there. I think Amazon has a listening service now that we just went into as well. So we're there everywhere, BroMob. That's where we are. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Our handles are right up above me, at FF Bros Podcast. And be sure to check out our website, thefantasyfootballbros.com, for all kinds of articles, rankings, and so much more. We will see you again next week, BroMob.
Bye, everybody.